Hello. Hi, how are you today? Chef Val here, coming to you live from the beautiful state of Michigan. It's a typical spring day here, 45 degrees, and it's overcast, and it's a little bit chilly. But that's okay. It's spring. And you know what spring means? It means that wild violet flowers are growing right now. And you can go outside and you can pick them. I pick them right out of my backyard. I picked these today, even though the weather was kind of cold. And I actually got more a couple days ago. Actually, the wild violet flowers in my backyard, anyways, they're kind of ending. And here's what's really cool about the wild violet flower. Can you see how pretty that is? Look how pretty that is. And when you pick them, they have this beautiful, delicate aroma. It's not overpowering. It's very delicate. So today I'm going to teach you how to make wild violet flower pudding. Yes, you can eat wild violet flowers. So welcome to my live feed. Hey, if you are tuned in and you're watching me either on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment. Just say hi, and you can tell me where you're tuned in from. As I mentioned before, I'm in the beautiful state of Michigan, and we are having some gloomy weather, but it's typical spring weather. In fact, not only are my wild violets blooming, my tulips are coming up, but they're not blooming yet. They're just green leaves. So I am Chef Val, and my website is macroval.com, in case you haven't checked that out yet. My website has all of my upcoming cooking classes and my special classes, which I'm going to tell you about a little bit later. And also, there's a recipe of the month on my website every month. And so this month, which is April, I have how to cook the whole grain barley, because barley is one of the signature whole grains of springtime that feeds and nurtures your liver and your gallbladder, and it's very cleansing to your body. So if you want to know how to cook the whole grain barley, go to my website, macroval.com, and all the past recipes are there also. There's also archived information. If you want to know the nutritional value of any food you can think of, all you got to do is go to the Food of the Month archives, and you can pull up, and it's going to tell you all about the whole grain barley, cucumbers, zucchini, pumpkin, miso, tempeh. Throughout the years, I've written all this information, and it's all archived on my website. So there's great information there. I am the author of 6 cookbooks. I offer cooking classes on a regular basis, and I also offer lifestyle counseling where I can work directly with you to help heal any health issues that you might be happening in your life. And I use food because food is medicine. Food is healing. So if you're tuned in on Facebook or on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment and say hi. Let me know where you tuned in from. So wild violets. Yes, I picked these out of my backyard just today. Here's the thing about wild violets. When you see them, you really need to pick them because they're a flower that comes very early in the springtime. And once they've flowered, they're gone. At least in my backyard. Later on in the summer, I get beautiful wild violet leaves. And I do collect the leaves and I dry the leaves because you can use the leaves to make tea also. But the flowers are unique and special in that we can eat them. So I love to put them in desserts. There's a video on my YouTube channel making chocolate candies decorated with wild violet flowers. When I make my lemon meringue pie, which I made for Easter, I use some of the wild violet flowers on the meringue to decorate them. And if you want that vegan lemon meringue pie, that's in my Simply Healthy Scrumptious Desserts cookbook, which is my latest cookbook. So my backyard. I've been living in my house for over 15 years, and I've never put any chemicals in my soil at all. So I know that I can go and pick my wild violets, and they're perfectly fine. My parents' house also has wild violets growing. Oh, well, I'm live and someone sends me a text. So, okay, all right. So, yeah, well, your friend is going live. You probably shouldn't send them messages or texts because it kind of goofs up things. But, anyways, so wild violet flowers, as I was saying, are an early spring flower. And so you need to pick them right away. Go to a place that hasn't been sprayed. So if it's in the woods or the wild, or like I said, my backyard has never been sprayed. My parents' backyard has never been sprayed. And so, yeah, you know for sure that you can use the wild violets. You can use them to make tea. I made some wild violet tea here. It's just a light, beautiful color, delicate flavor. It's very nice. So my latest creation is wild violet flower pudding, right? So I'm going to show you how to make that right now. Let's move over to the stove. All right, so here's how we're going to do it. We are going to take 2 cups of a non-dairy beverage. You can use your favorite non-dairy beverage. I actually have a combination here of 1 cup of soy beverage and 1 cup of rice beverage. I don't like calling them milk because they're not milk. Milk is what comes from a mammal, and so I call them non-dairy beverages. And I have 1 cup of soy and 1 cup of rice. I'm going to put that in the pot like so. And I'm going to turn it on a high temperature because I want to bring this to a boil. Now I'm going to use a natural sweetener, which is my favorite, brown rice syrup. If you don't know about brown rice syrup, you can go to my website. I have articles about it. I also have videos about it. Basically, it is made from whole brown rice, which is a whole grain. It will never spike your blood sugar level, so it's the healthiest sweetener there is. We want 1/3 of a cup of brown rice syrup. So here's what I do. I have some olive oil in my little spray thing. And if you put olive oil in the measuring cup and on the spatula, then you pour it in here like so. And you add the brown rice syrup to the pot. I have it on high because I want to bring it to a boil. Now, the reason why I put that little dash of olive oil on there is so that the sticky brown rice syrup would not stick to my measuring cup. So it didn't stick to my measuring cup or my spatula just by doing that trick. And then we have 2 tablespoons of agar flakes. So agar flakes is what's going to thicken the pudding. So it doesn't thicken the pudding now. What it does is as the pudding is cooling, it solidifies it. So, pudding is traditionally made with gelatin, which is ground up horse's hooves and ground up bones, which we don't want to eat. So this is agar flakes. That's what they look like. And this will help solidify the pudding when it cools down. So it will be solid instead of liquid. Agar flakes are freeze-dried red algae. So iron, calcium, natural chlorine, iodine, it's a sea vegetable. Very healthy. So we put that in there like so. Always have to put just a pinch of sea salt whenever we make a dessert. Actually brings out the sweetness because it balances the sweet with the salty. So it comes together very nicely. And here's the thing about when you cook with agar flakes, they have to cook for at least 7 minutes. If they don't cook for 7 minutes, then they don't get activated and your end product will not set up and get solid. It will remain liquid. So in my recipes, I usually call for you to cook the agar flakes anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes once it comes to a boil. I'm just going to whisk it a little bit. You don't need to whisk it a lot. I just want to incorporate everything. This is what it looks like now. Now, we're not going to add the wild violet flowers right now. I actually let the liquid simmer for about 5 or 6 minutes and then throw the wild violet flowers in there the last 2 or 3 minutes. So again, you're going to want it to simmer for about 7 minutes. That's going to make it come together. And so it's not an overpowering taste of the wild violets. I'm going to use a half a cup because it's just like a mellow sweet, it's a mellow flavor that's in there. Now, if you wanted a stronger wild violet flower taste, you could use more than a half a cup, but I'm going to use a half a cup. That's what I'm going to use. And so now once it gets to a boil, it's at a boil, we're going to reduce it to a simmer down low, right? And I am going to set the timer. Setting the timer for 7 minutes. Okay. And we're going to let that hang out and cook. While it's cooking, we have 7 minutes to chat. If you are tuned in and watching this on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know where you're tuned in from. I'm in the beautiful state of Michigan. What's going on where you live? So I wanted to give everybody an update on what's happening in the Porcupine Mountains, which is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. My all-time favorite place is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Now, I live in the Lower Peninsula. Many people have asked me that because I absolutely adore the Upper Peninsula, and I talk about it all the time. Now, I go up to the Upper Peninsula all the time on vacation. Ever since I was born, I've been going to the Upper Peninsula because my grandparents own a large farm up there. Up until I was in my 30s, our family had this piece of property. And since then, it's no longer in our family. So I've gone through the whole Upper Peninsula and I've camped. I love to camp, and I've also stayed in cabins, and I go up there for vacation. I go up there whenever I can, as much as possible. It's a pristine, beautiful wilderness. It's like hardly any people, hardly any traffic. I mean, there's the big cities up there like Marquette and Houghton and Escanaba. But other than that, it's wilderness, wilderness, wilderness. Now, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, there is one of our state parks called the Porcupine Mountains State Park. It is the most visited state park in the state of Michigan, and it was voted the most beautiful state park in the country last year. It's called the Porcupine Mountains. Did you know there's mountains in Michigan? Many people don't know that. Of course, they're smaller than the other mountains in our country, but we do have mountains in Michigan. And so what's happening is they're proposing to put a mine right next to the Porcupine Mountain State Park, which is right next to Lake Superior. And the contamination, the possibility of contamination is huge because it's so close to Lake Superior. Not to mention the loud noise that it will create for our beautiful state park. The fact that it will have obnoxious lights shining all the time when the Porcupine Mountains, one of the places up there, has been designated as one of the dark parks where you can see the beautiful stars at night. Yeah, that will all be ruined if this mine is put into the Porcupine Mountains. Now, I wrote a blog about this. Let me see, share screen. I wrote a blog about this. Let's look at my blog. If you have not subscribed to my blog yet, it's Valerie Wilson Substack. It's a really nice blog, and I've dedicated it to helping maintain health in your life. It's actually called I Am the Creator of My Health. But I do cover topics such as this because it's near and dear to my heart. Save our beautiful Porcupine Mountains. It's a pristine wilderness. This is Lake of the Clouds. This is not my picture, but I have been to Lake of the Clouds many times. And it's the most photographed place in the state of Michigan. And they're proposing this mine. And here is the website, Protect the Porkies. They're on top of it. I'll show you their website here in a minute. But here's the petition that you want to sign, Protect the Porkies. Okay, you want to sign this petition to say you don't want this mine put in. Here's what's information. On Tuesday, March 26th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, the Michigan Strategic Fund voted to give a $50 million grant to the Copperwood mine. This was devastating. $50 million grant. That is our taxpayer money. I don't want my taxpayer money going towards ruining one of the most beautiful, pristine parks in our state. The Protect Your Porkies website, here was their answer to when the $50 million grant was voted for. The outcome was certainly not ideal. They have voted to approve the grant, but the grant text has been altered significantly, and the company will not be awarded even a single copper penny until they have raised $150 million of their own investors. Their deadline to raise the money is December 31st, 2025. So that's our deadline to stop them. The plan remains unchanged. Keep building momentum until investors see this thing like the Titanic it is. Let's be clear, this movement is just getting started. So that's from the Protect Your Porkies website. That's what they said after the March 26th meeting. So that's the update I wanted to give you because I have been talking about this subject. I have been talking about this subject on other of my videos and also on my Substack blog. All right, so I just checked the timer and we have about a minute left for the 7-minute mark. We need to add the wild violets. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to add half a cup of wild violets to the pot. And I'm going to go kind of, isn't that beautiful? Look how absolutely beautiful that is. Look how beautiful that is. I kind of went a little over a half a cup, as you can see, but that's okay. That's approximately half a cup. Put that in there like so. And then we're going to let this continue to simmer for a couple more minutes. Now, if you are opposed to eating the wild violet flowers, after this simmers for another couple minutes, you can skim the flowers out of there before we add the kudzu, which is the next ingredient that's going to help thicken the pudding. I left the flowers in because I'm not opposed to eating the flowers. They get really, really soft and they just kind of fall apart. You don't really know that they're in the pudding. It's just, to me, it's kind of cool to eat the wild violet flowers. So I just left them in, you know. So it's been 7 minutes, but we're going to let them continue to simmer for a couple minutes. Remember, we can cook the agar flakes, 7 to 10 minutes is good. Now we need another thickening agent for the pudding. So I've used agar flakes so that it will solidify once it gets cool. But I want to thicken the liquid, and I'm going to use kudzu. Are you familiar with kudzu? It is a root starch, and it comes from the kudzu plant. And when you buy it, it comes in chunks like this. So this is what it looks like. Now you can't put these chunks in the hot liquid. They'll remain chunks. So what you want to do is you want to get a 1/4 cup of your non-dairy beverage. Put the kudzu in there like so, and then dissolve it. Okay. You want to just, some of those chunks, just dissolve it with a fork. So kudzu will thicken the hot liquid right away. Whereas agar flakes, you won't notice the thickness until they go in the refrigerator. Kudzu will thicken it right away. Kudzu has been used in Oriental medicine for thousands of years because its medicinal properties. It helps to alkalize your system, first and foremost. It's used to treat migraine headaches. It's used to treat any myriad of things where your body is too acidic, which disease lives in an acidic condition. So anytime you want to alkalize your system, you use kudzu. Make sure it's completely dissolved because you know there's chunks in there. You got to make sure it's completely dissolved. And then you put it in here. When I pour it into the hot liquid, I always have a whisk, and I'm ready to whisk it in. Okay. Like that. So we whisk it in. It takes like a minute and you'll see it thicken. It's not going to thicken a lot, but just a little bit. So kudzu is used, like I use my kudzu when I make gravy also. So that's what I use to thicken gravy. Let's get back up to a simmer here. Yeah, so let me check here. The YouTube channel, the Facebook channel. If you're tuned in, leave a comment and say hello. Even if you're watching this as the recording, leave a comment and say hello and let me know where you're tuned in from. Making wild violet pudding. I want that to come back up to a simmer. While that's happening, it's just gonna take a minute and it's gonna come back up to a simmer and it's gonna thicken. Now it's coming back up now. I made some ahead of time because obviously we have to let this cool before we can eat it. So here's the wild violet pudding after it's solidified. Now you can see I left the wild violet flowers in there. You could strain them out if you wanted to. Now what I did was, after it came to a boil and it thickened a bit, I let it cool naturally for about an hour, just like in the pot, and then I stuck it in the fridge. And then I checked it every 15 minutes or so. Every 15 minutes or so, I took a whisk to it, and I did like that because that made it creamy. If you just let this go and put it in the refrigerator, it will solidify and set up kind of like Jell-O. And we want pudding. We don't want Jell-O. So that's why I took the whisk to it. Okay, so you have to let this cool down naturally. That's what you have to do. And then this is the pudding and what it's going to be like. Okay, it's boiling now. It's come back up to a simmer. Yeah, so taste. Yeah, and the flowers are so soft. They just fall apart in your mouth when you eat them. Yum. All right, we can turn that off now. It's very hot. Okay. That's what it looks like. All right, let's see where we are time-wise. Okay. Now, I wanted to share with you the protect the Porky's website so that you can all take action with what I was talking about, Porcupine State Park and the mine that's being proposed to be put in there. Right, so here is Protect the Porky's website. This is the Porcupine Mountains. It's our beautiful state park. Here, you know, if you go to the website, you can sign the petition right there. Here's Lake Superior. Look at this. This is a map of what's happening. Not a copper mine at all. It's a waste mine. Do you see this right here? Here's Lake Superior. This is the proposed mine site here. And this big, huge gray thing right here is where they're proposing to put all of the waste product that comes up from mining. All of this, 350 acres is going to be just waste. And see all this water flowing into Lake Superior, the chances of this collapsing and accidentally falling into Lake Superior, that's what is very concerning. It's right next to the North Country Trail and the Porcupine Mountains. And it's the closest metallic sulfide mine to Lake Superior in history. This is the Porcupine Mountain State Park right here. It's beautiful. Here is where they're proposing the Copperwood project, which this side of the Porcupine Mountains is where the beautiful waterfalls are. If anybody's been up there, you've seen those waterfalls. I've walked around there a lot. It's beautiful. But this is where they're proposing the noise, the pollution that would go on there is just bad. So here's all the information that you need to know on the website, Protect the Porkies. And it's also located firmly in the 1842 treaty territory. Learn more about that. And up here, take action, learn more, audio videos. You want to go here and you want to watch these videos. If you want to know what's happening up there, you want to watch these videos, okay? Pure hypocrisy. This is a great video, and here's the reason why. You probably don't know this, but the Michigan Strategic Fund is who voted to give $50 million of our taxpayer money to this mining project. Who is the Michigan Strategic Fund? They are a bunch of people who are appointed, not elected, and they created the Pure Michigan campaign and the Pure Michigan logo, excuse me. And that's why this pure hypocrisy. I love this video. Go to YouTube and watch this. A drive down North County Trail 519, just north of Wakefield, Michigan. This is what it looks like up there. Look at this. Somebody went there, and this is what they're doing already. The mine has not been approved yet. They don't have enough funding, but the company has already gone in there and clear cut all of this. They did this. They've already destroyed the beautiful wilderness up there. I hope this makes you as upset as it makes me, because this is just terrible. This is what you need to do. You need to take action. We are just the messenger. Now that you've got the messages, what will you do? Okay. Here it is. The $50 million handout of Michigan taxpayer revenue to Highland Copper, that's the name of the company doing the finding, should never have been approved. And here's all the information about it. Here's all the people you can contact, your attorney general. And this is what you need to do. And sign the petition. It says, you know, we don't want this in our beautiful state. Stop screen sharing. All right. So that's my update about the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park, in case you were wondering. And so if you get a chance, go check that out, protecttheporkies.com. My Substack, Valerie Wilson Substack, that's also where I have information about Protect the Porkies. And I'm going to take a sip of this beautiful wild violet flower tea. Oh, that's yummy. All right, let's look at the health benefits of wild violet tea, right? Where is that? Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, here it is. I'm looking for screen sharing. Okay, here we go. Share. Here we go. Wild violet flowers. And they are anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antioxidant. They can help boost your immune system. They can help promote clear skin, soothe irritated tissues. It is a disinfectant, a natural painkiller. It has a calming effect on your nerves. The minerals it contains is calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, and vitamin A. Some things that it may help with is promote sleep, treat infections, treat upper respiratory tract, treat colds, flus, virus infections, can treat bronchitis, reduce pain and swelling. You can make a poultice out of it. It's good for your skin. It may help with high blood pressure. It may help relieve pain, and it helps to purify the blood. It may help relieve coughing, sore throat. It can help aid in digestion and may help reduce fever. And of course, all of these things are things that it could possibly help with. I'm not making any medical statements here whatsoever. I'm just telling you the healing properties of the wild violet flowers. And humans have been using plants for hundreds of thousands of years to help treat things. So they're pretty darn safe. Wild violet tea. Now, if you want to make the wild violet tea that I just sipped on, it's 2 cups of water and a 1/4 cup of the wild violet flowers, either dried or fresh. Bring to a boil, and then you turn the water off, and then you add the wild violet. This is leaves or flowers, and then steep and then drink. This information here is was in the bundle that is no longer available, so you can't get the bundle anymore, but it was part of what I submitted to the bundle. What I submitted to the bundle was a class that I taught last year called Healing with Food, and it was a 3-week series, and it was very successful, and everybody loved it. So guess what? I am teaching the next Healing with Foods 3-week series. It is starting on Saturday, April 27th. It is from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's an 1.5-hour class. And in the first class, I am going to teach about 3 of my favorite foods: the umeboshi plum, miso, and nori. Now, in these 3-week series of classes, I am using food as medicine. Normally, I'm a chef and I teach you how to use these things in recipes, right? And I love the umeboshi for the flavor in a recipe, but I'm going to teach you how to use it to treat things like bruises, bug bites, bug stings. And then I'm going to use the other products, for cuts, scrapes, teach you how to make poultices, all different ways to use the miso, the umeboshi, and the nori in medicinal healing applications for your body. I also go over the history of the food in great depth, like how long have they been using this food? How do they make this food? Where does this food come from? So it's all information about the healing benefits of the food. Now, that's just the first week on Saturday, April 27th. That's the first week. Now, the second week is Saturday, May 11th. And in that class, I'm going to teach you how to make a cabbage poultice and also a tofu poultice. And I'm going to explain to you why you would want to make these poultices, what are they good for, and in what instances would you use them. And then the third class will be Saturday, June 1st. And in that class, I'm going to teach you about dead nettles, which is a plant that I pick in my backyard, and it's in the nettles family, only it doesn't sting you like stinging nettles. But the healing benefits of dead nettles is huge. Also in that class, mustard. Okay, I adore mustard. It's my favorite condiment, but the mustard seed has so many incredible medicinal properties. I'm going to teach you about those properties and how to use mustard seed. And I'm also going to teach about basil, my all-time favorite herb or spice, basil. So many healing properties. So it's a 3-week series, April 27th, May 11th, and June 1st, all Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. I'm going to cover such issues such as how to treat bug bites, bee stings, actually how to prevent bugs from being attracted to you in the first place, how to alkalize your system, which one of these foods can help you treat a cold or a flu, how to make poultices. I'm also going to teach you some specialty teas so that when you're not feeling good, these teas are going to help you. And I'm going to have just a wealth of information about the history of these foods also. So this is a wonderful class for you to learn. And then you'll be able to have all these foods in your house on a regular basis. And you'll be able to heal your body naturally using food because food is medicine. Let me show you this page here on my website. This is my website, macroval.com. This is my Healing with Foods #2. Food is medicine. I have been studying food for 27 years, cooking and eating healthy food, and I'm going to share my knowledge with you. This is the umeboshi plums right here. That's the first class. The second class features dead nettles. This is dead nettles right here growing in my backyard. I'll be wild harvesting those as soon as they're available. And then the third, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped to the third class, which is dead nettles. The second class is cabbage and tofu. All right. So each class is $35. If you want to sign up and prepay for all three, you get a discount, $90. If you cannot attend one of the classes in person, I can send you the recording. And you'll also get information. You'll get an information packet for every single one of these classes, all about how to treat the body using food and when I would want to use certain foods. So by the way, this is my website, and here's the Food of the Month archive that I told you about if you want information on food. And then where is Recipe of the Month? Cooking classes, counseling, Recipe of the Month. Here we go. Recipe of the Month. How to cook the whole grain barley. Right here. Very important. You need to learn the basics of cooking whole grains so you can have them in your diet on a regular basis. And what do I have? My upcoming cooking classes. Let's see here. Cooking classes. Here we go. All right. I'm super excited. Look at this. Everything asparagus cooking class next Wednesday, April 10th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everything asparagus. I love asparagus. Asparagus is my favorite vegetable for springtime. I'm going to teach you how to make asparagus tacos. What? Asparagus tacos? Yes. These are to die for. They're so delicious. I'm also going to teach you how to make an asparagus sauce. We're going to serve over millet. And then also a chocolate paprika sauce to serve over asparagus. Yeah, it's really good. So in this class, I'm going to teach you 3 recipes. But in this class, 3 basic recipes, you will get, though, 3 sauces. You're going to get a vegan cheese recipe that's going to be on the taco. You're going to get the asparagus sauce that's being served over the millet. And then you're going to get spicy carrot sauce that is also in the taco. So there's so many recipes in this. Now, this is in person or virtual. So if you're here in Michigan and I live in Westland, Michigan, and you want to come, you can come in person. In person, we make the food together. It's hands-on experience, and then we all sit down and eat the food. If you're not in Michigan, you can attend virtually. I send you the recipes ahead of time, and I have many students who like to cook in their own kitchen at home while I am teaching here, in my home. So that's a lot of fun. So you have either one of those options. The class time has changed. It is now 6 to 9 p.m. It used to be only until 8:30, but the classes just are running long with all the hands-on experience that I had to expand it so that the class is from 6 to 9. So that's in person and virtual. This class is just virtual. The next one, it is not in person. It's Thursday, April 25th. This is a spring meal cooking class, and it's 6:30 to 8, so it's an hour and a half. We're doing 2 recipes. Both of these recipes feature dandelion greens. They feature arugula, 2 of my favorite greens. I'm going to teach you how to make a quinoa, bok choy, and spring vegetable dish, and a tempeh and sauerkraut dish. And again, that in-person class, you get the recipes ahead of time and you can cook along with me if you would like. Let's do another screen share here. Select a tab to open. Hold on. Cancel. I want to do select a screen share. Here we go. I want to show you some pictures. Here we go. These are all pictures of food, right? Because that's what I do. Pictures of food. This is the asparagus taco. Asparagus taco right there. This is the vegan cheese sauce. Oh my God, it's to die for. It's so delicious. That is the asparagus taco. This is the whole dinner. This is the asparagus with chocolate paprika sauce. This is the millet with the asparagus onion sauce on it. And this is the asparagus taco. There's another view of the plate. Asparagus taco. There is the asparagus with chocolate sauce. It's really good. Trust me. Here is the asparagus sauce over the millet. The whole grain millet is the easiest grain to digest. It's high in iron and calcium. That's the asparagus sauce. All right. This is the dish that's in the virtual class on the Thursday, the 25th. It's got all kinds of spring vegetables. Asparagus is in there, yellow summer squash. We have dandelion greens. We have arugula. We have bok choy. And it's all served with this sauce, and it's served over quinoa. It's a whole meal in one. And that is the dish right there. That is the butt of the bok choy, decorating it on top there. But yeah, it features bok choy, spring dish. Now this is the other dish that's tempeh and sauerkraut. Sour is the signature flavor of springtime, and this one also has the arugula, dandelion greens. We've got zucchini, we've got carrots, and the signature flavor here is the sauerkraut. And of course, the tempeh is your high protein dish. So that is the other dish. Oh, there's my wild violets. All right. So I wanted to show you that. I want to show you pictures. Stop screen sharing. All right, I'm back. All right, so yeah, if you get a chance, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video and where you tuned in from. That would be great. I taught how to make wild violet flower pudding in the class. Now it's been sitting on the stove just for, 10, 15 minutes. So again, I'm going to just whisk it so it gets nice and smooth. Probably in about another 20 minutes, I'll put it in the fridge. And then every 15 minutes or so, I'll whisk it to make sure that it becomes nice and creamy, like this pudding right here. It's creamy wild violet flower pudding. And I wanted to show you this too. When I pick the wild violets, this is how I preserve them or save them. First of all, you have to wash them, right? You got to wash them. And then I put them on paper towel to dry. And then I put them on a silicone mat and I put them in the freezer. So they're frozen. They look beautiful when they're frozen. So I can still use the frozen wild violet flowers to decorate my desserts, right? And then after I freeze them on the silicone mat, I put them in a container like this. And like I said, they stay beautiful. So I can use them. You could use them in a salad. I like using them on desserts because they look so pretty. Just if you're making a cake or a pie or something like that, just some wild violet flowers sprinkled on top just makes it look so beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I had a great time coming to you today and teaching you how to make wild violet flower pudding. It's very delicious. I hope you get a chance to make it and get outside and pick some wild violets. Make some wild violet tea. It's very delicate. It's delicious. And I hope to see you in the upcoming Healing with Foods #2 series. 3 Saturdays in April, May, and June. There's so much information in these healing series and the power of food and how to use these foods in medicinal purposes. No need to use anything else except food to heal the body, basically. All right, go to macroval.com for all the information, and don't forget to sign up for my newsletter on macroval.com because that will keep you connected with me for all of my upcoming cooking classes and everything I have to offer. All right, thank you so much. Remember, get in the kitchen and cook healthy.